Welcome to our second stage in Design Foundations, where we'll learn the importance of aesthetics and why they're so valuable to design. In this video, we'll cover format, line, and shape. All designs start off with a blank substance, whether it be a blank piece of paper or a blank file. These raw mediums or spaces all have size and shape even if it's digital. This space is called the format of the design. It's where everything is arranged. This could be two-dimensional or three-dimensional. The format of the design can portray the overall mood of the design. Take a digital tablet, for example. When we are in portrait mode as opposed to landscape mode, we get two entirely different layouts. This is due to the change in format. The format always needs to be considered before we begin the design. Once the format is established, we then are ready to design. Always keep in mind the format. Also, remember every two-dimensional design has two parts, the picture plane and the frame. The picture plane is the space where the design is taking place. The frame is the outer edge of the picture plane. The frame specifies where the design stops. The frame can be visible or implied. It can have a visual indicator or a contrast. We always want to start a design with a format in mind and have the understanding that where the picture plane ends and if the frame will appear. If you're getting ready to design a website that is displayed on multiple devices and screen sizes or formats, make sure to keep in mind the formats so you can adjust for future design layouts. Next up, we have line. One of the easiest elements of design to understand are lines. A line is a long, narrow mark or a band passing through a point. Before we understand a line, we must understand what a point is. In most cases, the line has a beginning and end point, where it starts and stops. The indication of the start and stop areas are the points. The connection in between is the line, or long narrow mark or band passing through a point. You can have multiple points in one path. We now understand what a line is. Let's look at the different variations of line and how we can use them to identify an aesthetically pleasing design. Let's take a look at an arc. An arc is a line that has 2 points, the start and stop points, but the line can bend away from the points, then reaching the end point. When we're talking about the thickness of the line, we're talking about the line weight. When we're talking about where it starts and stops, this refers to the line's length. Now there's different variations to lines. There's organic, there's symmetrical, then we have rough, and then a jagged line. We can also have line variety, which is a mixture of these variations. When we create illustrations with just using lines, this is called contour lines. When dealing with lines, we can have organized or unorganized lines. Also, we can use negative space to show where a line may be. When dealing with graphic design, a lot of designers use what we like to call a grid, which is comprised of horizontal and vertical lines crossing one another that are evenly spaced. These are called grids. We use these to line up specific objects or whatever the subject matter may be. Lines can also form shapes as well as textures. Next, let's take a look at shapes. Shape is an external form or appearance of something. Lines and points are the building blocks of shapes. Also, incomplete contour paths can create shapes. Let's take a look at a geometric shape versus an organic shape. Now let's take a look at how these examples are in everyday life, like architecture and furniture, even with our mobile devices. Knowing your format or formats prior to design is crucial. Now that we have a solid understanding of what format, line, and shape are, and how they play a huge role in design, let's take a quick quiz.